Hi everyone, welcome back to Bernina Club. Today I am going to show you how to do some really neat finishes because summer's coming and these are all to do with elasticating. So I'm going to be showing you how you can elasticate a top to make it fit nice and snug and better, how you can use your shirring elastic, and how you can pull in a garment by using a braid that is actually like a lightweight hemming tape. So I'm going to start with that one first. So you know how when you get curtains and you pull up the curtain tape? This is exactly the same product, but it's a very lightweight one, and it's lovely for chiffons or cotton fabrics, and it's a really nice finish. So I'm going to show you that one first. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll just obviously cut a small piece, so I'm not going to be doing a large piece. And it's like a polyester type finish. So the first thing I would do is I would put a dab of fray check on there, or something to stop it fraying. I use fray check. And then I would turn under the raw edge twice. And I'm stitching in I am going to stitch in a different colour so you can actually see. I'm going to use my little short foot. This is a number 6 foot that I really like, and I'm going to use it a little bit today. So I'm going to just thread up my machine with a different colour so you can actually see my stitching. And ordinary sewing needle, just a size 80 sewing needle. Any colour thread underneath. Oh, well, it would match your garment because this goes on the inside, so the colour to match your garment. And I'll use just this patterned fabric. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is clean finish this edge. So you can fray check it and then turn it under twice and top stitch it. Okay, so you'll be able to see hopefully nice and clearly. Now I am going to back stitch and sew to the end. And the reason why we're stitching across this, because we don't want this part to undo. We want that to stay nice and firm. Okay, so here's my, I'll go this way, so here's my garment. Just give this a little press. Just give my garment a little press, my very miniature garment. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be stitching down. Now, hopefully you can see very clearly those rows of thread running through this braid. So I'm laying this down on the center of my garment, and this would be either your center back or the center front of your garment. Lay it down, and I'll start from this end, and I'll make this end nice and tidy to start off. Go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch down this outside edge, and it's so easy because you've got rows to follow. And I don't really need to have it a really close edge. I'll go a bit longer. Length, beg your pardon, I'll go a little bit longer. So I've gone just down to 3. So stitch down, and the needle stop down function on. And the first one you can go across the end until you get to the middle of the next row of threads. Turn, and don't start from the very end, which I've just done. Start about 3/4 of an inch in so that you can turn your end under. Okay, so I'll just pull that back a little bit. So about 3/4 to an inch from the end. Sew up and stop in exactly the same place. And I will reverse. Now what I do now is I lift my foot up, lift my knee up, turn my work around, and pop over to right in between the next lot of stitching. Do my forward and reverse, so down, needle stop down on, go across to the middle of the next stitch line, turn, so up the middle, and reverse, needle up, turn my work, so down through the middle, stop at the end, needle down, across, and back up to the top, and stop in the same length you've started, and reverse, needle up, foot up, turn, and on the last one, sew on the outside edge. Okay. And then just reverse there. Perfect. Now what you do, clip your threads here and here, and then in the middle, just clip those threads so that they're not going to be a big loop. That one and that one. Okay, so that it's nice and open so you can pull up the threads. Turn it to the right side of your garment and clip those threads off. So just clip. I love this beautiful, beautiful fabric. Imagine a top in this, it'd be very pretty for summer. Okay, now what you do is you get your trusty quick unpick and you're going to pull these threads up, and they're going to be your pull cords. Oops. So just pull them up just like you do a curtain. But the beauty about this can be on the bottom of a sleeve, it can be on the back of a top, you can do it anywhere. Now, this is not going to be elasticated, so this will be just a pull up and that's how it will stay. So I pull it in threes, pull up your work, and pull it in threes, pull up your work. And the secret is to get it really, really, really nice and even. Once it's nice and even, you can tie off your cords. So by doing that, I just get 3, or you could do 2, and pop it back through here, like that. And to pull it down, just put a needle or a pin or a quick unpick, slide it down so it makes a knot. Okay? And the same on the other side. I don't want it too tight. So just make a loop. Oh, so I did a twisty loop. Doesn't matter, just a loop back through and tie it off. There we go. And just slide it down so it's the same length as the other one. Or nearly the same length. Now what you do is you clean finish that off by turning it under twice, just like you did before. And I'll probably go 3 times because I want it nice and tight. And I stitch across that end. And that will just stop it from fraying anywhere. And I'll stitch those knots down as well. It's quite a good idea. You could tuck those under if you like. Do whatever you like. As long as you've knotted them off, they're not going to go anywhere. Clip those. You can clip these off. And you have got a really lovely little pull-up gather on a garment. Especially if the garment's a bit too big, you can just pull it up and make a nice soft little gather. And you can adjust these to suit you, because that is just going to gather up. So you see how it's gathering just like a curtain. So sometimes you have a garment and it's just so full that it needs to be pulled in. And this can look really, really, really nice on the back of a top. Or you could use it on a sleeve, all sorts of things. So I'll just see if I've got another sample here to show you. So here is a white one on this one here. And again, it's a bit hard to do all put 6 of them at once, but just to show you. So you can have it as long as you like and pull it up as tight as you like. And on the plain, see how you get that lovely finish. Now, I've seen this on a purchase garment. And what they did was they had a bit of this tape and they had a really nice full shirt, and they just did a little bit of a tag there and a little bit of a gather there and a little bit of gather there, a little bit of gather there as a feature, and it looked really, really cool. So that's why I wanted to show you that. It's very nice. Now, this here is a cord, and this is what I'm going to show you next, and this is what I use sometimes for gathering or for couching. So I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to show you how you can gather just by using a cord. So this is number 8 pearl cord. It comes in every colour under the sun, but all you need to do is find the end. Gotta love it. And what you do is you cut the end so it's nice and crisp, and you thread it through your foot. So the center of this foot has a hole, and this is called the number 6 foot. Doesn't come with every machine, but it's one you can purchase, and I use it to thread cord through, and I use it to thread elastic through. So the cord now is right through the foot. Okay, so now I just pop the foot on, and all I need to do to stitch this is a zigzag. So my zigzag needs to be just wide enough to cover my cord. So I'm going to pop my machine onto zigzag, and I will tell you the settings. So I use this when I need to gather up and I don't want it elasticated. So I just put it onto zigzag, and I'm just going to narrow it down, and it's on about 1.5 and 1.5. So all I do is run my foot width along my raw edge of my fabric, and when you get to the end, you lift your foot up, or the needle's up, good. You turn it around, you leave a loop, and you sew right back down beside it. And you only need to do 2 rows because it's just a gather, but it makes a very strong gather. Now I use this when I need a stronger gather than 2 rows of gathering, just with my thread. Okay, so this is a zigzag over a cord. Very, very good when you're using a very thick fabric that needs gathering up, because thread will just break. You cut your threads, and because you've put a loop there, you now can get just your threads. So cut your sewing threads. You can just get now your cord, cut your sewing thread so you don't try and pull that up because it won't work. Cut your sewing thread. And now you can simply hold your cord and you can pull it up. And that is how I do really nice even gathers when I don't need it elasticized. Because 2 rows of stitching, what we normally do, just sometimes doesn't work, and look how nice and even you can get it. Okay? Now when you stitch your garment together, you're actually stitching below that line, and you can pull the cords out. But it's a very good strong way of gathering up when you need it stronger. Okay? So normally what we do is we don't have any cord. I'll just show you the difference, you'll be amazed. And you just straight stitch on a long stitch length. So we always have a long stitch length to gather up. And we sew down, we leave a tail, and we do another row beside it. And that's what we normally do. But sometimes those threads break. And so by having it, and my bobbin just ran out at the opportune time. So now when I pull these up, just make sure you've only got your top ones. So you just pull them up like that. What can happen is sometimes those threads break. Okay? So that's what we normally do, but sometimes those threads break. So if you're using a fabric where you think, oh, I'm going to pull it up and my thread's going to break, then you would do the cord method. Okay, so very good for gathering up. Now the other thing I use my foot for is my elasticating. So this is when I want to do my shirring, or I want to gather up with an elasticin. Exactly the same method, exactly the same zigzag, 1.5 width and 1.5 length, because it's very fine, and it's called shirring elastic, and it's somewhere here is the beginning. There it is. So again, cut it off so you've got a nice straight edge, and I always take the foot off to thread it because it's so much easier. Thread it through the eye, and this foot is brilliant because this is what it's designed for. I'll just wind some thread onto my bobbin. So what's really good about these new machines is when you go to wind a bobbin, if you've already got your thread threaded up on your machine, you just put it on this little hook here, and you come around your tension here for your bobbin, and then you wind it around here. And I would normally have my other felt on and then cut your thread and then put it across. So it's quite handy being able to wind your bobbin while you've already got your machine threaded. I think that's brilliant. There we go. And so now I'll just pop that back in my bobbin and I'll show you how to do the shirring. It's very, very easy. I have shown it before, but because summer's coming and the little shirred tops are all back in again, they seem to be having a real good run on them the last few years, but they are very, very pretty. So just kind of off the shoulder shirred tops. So all I'm doing is I've got normal thread top and bottom. I've got my zigzag back on 2, and I will just get some fabric. I'll do it on this one. So normal just calico so you can see. So I'm just doing my small zigzag, and I've got mauve thread on so you'll be able to see it. Now, when I'm at home and I'm doing this, you have to do a lot of shirring to do a top. So what I do is I put this on my knee control here. So I just sit on my knee control, put it back in my machine, and I put a clothes peg on there so that it can't fall off. But this one, this is just a short one, it can't fall off anyway. But what it does is it feeds off beautifully. So it's very, very handy. My one's a long one and it can fall, so I put an extra helper on there, which is my clothes peg. So all I do now is I stitch down, and I'm on zigzag, and I can lengthen it out a little bit actually. Sew down. The secret is not to catch the zigzag, and that's why the foot is so good. So you sew down, knee, you want the foot up, you lift it up, you turn round, and you sew down. So easy and so clever, and the elastic will go where your foot goes. Okay, sew down, lift it up, turn it around, leave a loop, give it a little tug, and sew down. You can sew as many rows as you like. You usually do quite a few when you're doing a top. So, and I'll tell you the other thing, do you know what this is really nice for? If you make a really nice soft skirt, say a lovely chiffon skirt, you can just do shirring along the top as your elastic. It's a very nice finish. Very, very nice finish. So you just run it along. Lift it up, turn it around, and run it down again. So you always finish the same end you started. So I started this end, so I'm going to do one more row, and that's where I'm going to finish. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around, do another loop, and sew down. And I'll show you why in a minute. So when I get to here, if that's my finish of my garment, I'm going to cut my thread, and then I'm going to lift my work, and I'm going to straight stitch down here. Oh, clear it because it was on a long stitch. Needle down, and I'm going to turn it and stitch it again so it does not pull out, because there is nothing worse than that pulling out. Okay. Right. So, needle up. So I have secured this end. I have got my loops on this end. Alright, so now I can pull up my garment. And once it's pulled up, you cannot tell that you have got it zigzagged. So back many years ago, we used to put the shirring in the bobbin. It's not good for your tension, so the mechanics said it's not a good plan. So now they brought out this foot, and this is what we do. And then you simply pull up your shirring elastic, and look how it gathers up your garment or your fabric beautifully. Okay, so it's a really lovely even gather. So I'll leave one side not gathered so you can see the difference. See, so you can pull it up beautifully. This is not gathered, and this is how you can get it. And you can just move your gathers so they're nice and even. and on the wrong side it looks like this. So it's very, very even, and what people don't realize is you can actually shear your rows of fabric and you can smocking it just like you would pulling up your smocking dots. You can't buy smocking dots anymore, but smocking dots were iron-on little dots that you put on your fabric and you hand tacked every single one, then you pulled it all up and then it would look just like this. Well, you can cheat and you can do it with this elastic. It's brilliant. So this is called shirring elastic, and you just buy it in a packet, and you can buy, there's different brands, but this one is the little Bernina one that we've got, and it is on my knee control. And it comes in black and white. So it just comes on a little roll like this. Do not leave it sitting in the sun, it will perish. So keep it in your cupboard when you buy it, but you can get some lovely, lovely results from using your shirring elastic. Okay, so that's that. Now I did forget to show you one thing, so I'm going to backtrack, and I'm just going to thread this cord back into this foot again, just to show you some couching. For those ladies that haven't seen my previous videos, this is really, really cool. So like I said, this cord, whatever cord can fit through this hole you can use, but this is number 8 pearl cord. And I don't have to just use a zigzag with this stitch. I can use any stitch I like. So I'm just going to whip it on the purple so you can see it. So this would be on the right side of the garment, and they call this couching. So if I do a zigzag, that's absolutely fine. I can zigzag. And I can go anywhere. Oh, narrow it down so it's nice and close. So 1.5 width and 1.5 length. So I can sew anywhere I like, and my cord will go with me. Very, very clever. So it's called couching. And it's just a decorative something you can do, a decorative stitch you can do, a braid you can do, and I can crisscross it over. Very cool. So sometimes I draw a design on my fabric, and that's what I use, and sometimes I just do it freehand like this and stitch wherever I like. It's very effective. So the foot is a useful foot. It's a number 6. All right, and that is couching. So there we have it. Clever, isn't it? Now on the wrong side, all you get is the zigzag stitch, which is very cool as well. But you don't just have to use zigzag. You could use a blanket stitch. You could use a fancy stitch, as long as it was nice and narrow. So I think it's just a fun thing for you to do, and something quite cool that you could do on the bottom of a skirt or a top. All right. So I've got a couple of other things to show you, which I'm going to do in the next video. So the next video is actually only 2 weeks away, and it'll be the last one for the year. And then my plan, if I choose to, and if I can get the motivation, is during that Christmas break of Bernina Club, get a whole lot of videos behind me so I can put them on YouTube so you can have fun during the holidays. So I'll have to talk to my nice, kind videographer, which is my husband, and see if he will kindly set up a studio at home so I can do some more videos for you, because I've had a lot of requests and I'm just not getting time to do them, so I will try and make a plan. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed it, and you will get the other videos in a couple of weeks because I'm a little bit late getting this one out. My apologies. Went on a holiday to see the grandchildren. So please, if there's any requests for anything you'd like me to do, please let me know, because I'm happy to do it. Now I do have a new email address. It is robin@mybernina.co.nz. That's robin@mybernina.co.nz. All right, ladies. Well, look, there's my phone. Very, very timely. So I will see you in a couple of weeks.